Today on r/PettyRevenge, a boss who cheaped out on loyalty, a manager who learned what no notice really means, and a book nerd who took spoilers way too far. Let's dive in.
My boss refused to promote me or give me reasonable raises, so I developed skills on the company dime that got me a 100% plus raise at another company. Early in my career, I worked as an engineer for a defense contractor for about 4 years, getting my typical 2 to 4% raises and standard promotions that take years and years to qualify for. I realized that in my current role, I was pretty much maxed out for the foreseeable future and would be scraping by for years more, so I tried to get on the management track. I got assigned a project engineer position to prove myself. I managed a team of 4 engineers, a designer, and 2 admins. We designed and manufactured a system that made $1.6 million in sales in our first year of work. We got the company a patent and were nominated by the USAF as finalists for DoD Contractor Technical Team of the Year. We were even flown to DC for a big awards ceremony. I spent 100 days away from my family that year, traveling to test locations, customers, vendors, etc. It was brutal, but we were wildly successful. When annual performance reviews came in, mine was 10 out of 10. I was thrilled. Then I found out one of my team members, who had a different manager, was promoted early to a senior position. And I wasn't. I just got the standard 3% raise again. I was livid. I had a meeting with my boss, and his response was that he didn't think my team member deserved a promotion or a big raise either. But since he wasn't their boss, there wasn't much he could do. Basically, I should try real hard again, and we'll see next year. Forget that. I basically quiet quit and just barely worked my 40 hours, then went home. I never traveled unless I really wanted to. I never stayed late. I took almost every Friday off to burn through my leave. I took all my sick days too. My mental health was much better. The only thing I really did extra was take advantage of the education budget our group had, but rarely used. My previously promoted coworker, who I really liked personally, started taking MBA evening classes that the company reimbursed him for, but they came with obligations to stay there for a few years. They also had a nice budget for software training without such stipulations. So we both signed up for FEA and 3D modeling classes. We traveled around together, taking these classes and building our resumes. About a month after the classes were finished, I secretly started applying for jobs that required those specific skills and quickly got hired for a position with a base annual income that was 200% of my existing rate. Plus, it paid overtime. I put in my notice, and my boss was really upset. "We just paid for you to travel all over to learn these new skills that we need. Don't you have any loyalty or guilt? How much are they paying you? Let's see if we can match it." "That's more than I make." It was. And with overtime, I made about 3 times more the following year, working for a competitor. Life-changing good times.
You know what? This is the kind of petty I live for. Not loud, not messy, just quietly life-changing. I love how he didn't even have to get even. He just leveled up and let the paycheck do the talking. That boss tried to guilt trip him with the whole "we paid for your classes" thing, but come on. This guy gave them years of hard work, travel, and results, and they still tossed him scraps. Honestly, walking out knowing you'll make triple? Chef's kiss. And speaking of leaving without looking back, wait till you hear what this next guy did when his manager got a little too smug about firing people.
My contractor coworker quit with 10 seconds notice after what our manager said about contractors. I worked an engineering contract for a while. It was pretty open-ended, like many are, with a vague but not binding length specified. Something like, this contract is expected to be for 12 months, but it is at the will of the employer and could end earlier or be extended further. For people who do that kind of work, they usually stick to those vague timelines, and a lot of well-performing contractors get extended. Anyway, one day, our team of 10, all contractors, managed by 1 full-time employee, had to let 3 contractors go, and they had me do it. Technically, I was running that team, but I was a contractor too, and not in charge of any firing like that. So they were told, "This is your last day" at 4 p.m. Me and another contractor asked our sponsor, "Hey, how come we didn't give those guys any notice?" He said brightly, "That's why we hire contractors, so we can cut them loose at a moment's notice whenever we want to." We didn't love that answer. It was a weird thing to say to 2 other contractors. He basically told us we'd get no notice and be let go instantly someday. Anyway, long story short, that other contractor was a very sharp guy. He started interviewing and got another job. job. He told me about it, and I didn't tell anyone else. It started in a few weeks. He just kept right on working at the contract job, and he was in the middle of a bunch of work that only he understood. At 5 p.m. on his last day, he just stood up, grabbed his laptop, mouse, and docking station, walked to our sponsor's desk, and set them down. He said brightly, "Hey, thanks for everything. This is my last day." The guy said, "Wait, you're leaving?" He just said, "Yes, thanks," and walked out. That was it. He also hit send on a more official last day email at the same time. It was really funny. His work was half done. He didn't answer any calls or questions about it. And it took us about a month to figure it all out and get that project back on track. If the sponsor hadn't been so delighted about being able to fire contractors at any second, that guy definitely would have given a nice 2-week notice and worked to have a smooth handoff of his work.
That's how you do it. Calm, clean, and with maximum chaos. 10 seconds notice? That man turned at-will employment into a personality trait. And the manager? He really said the quiet part out loud, then acted shocked when karma showed up right on schedule. I swear, nothing hits harder than watching arrogance backfire in real time. If you've ever dreamed of pulling a bye forever moment at work, this story probably just became your inspiration. But our last story? It's not about work at all. It's about one reader who decided that revenge spoils best when served cold. And chapter by chapter.
I purposely spoiled the end of a 14-book novel series because of rudeness. I was in a fantasy book subreddit and mentioned the name of a supporting character in a post. I revealed nothing about this character except their name. Some random person told me I had spoiled the story because now he knew the name of a future character. There are 2,000 named characters in this 14-book series. I told him I hadn't spoiled anything with my post. He started berating me and calling me names, insulting my intelligence, so I spoiled the ending of the series. Since he didn't recognize the name I had mentioned, he was obviously not even halfway through the series. I sent him a DM, so I didn't break the sub's rules, and spoiled the entire thing. I told him who dies, how, and why. I explained how the big bad was defeated, what happened after the climax, and even tossed in a few fan theories about the world after the story ended. I ruined months of reading for him, and honestly, I don't feel bad at all.
Okay, this one is petty art. That guy wanted to pick a fight over a name, and he ended up losing an entire universe. It's honestly beautiful. A literary nuke disguised as a DM. Do I condone it? Not exactly. But do I respect the precision? Absolutely. Some lessons just have to be learned the hard way. Like, don't insult someone who clearly knows how it ends. So, what do you think? Justified revenge or next level overkill? Tell me in the comment. And that's the end of today's r/Petty Revenge Tales. Proof that you don't need to go big, just penny enough to feel amazing. If you loved the low-key vengeance, give that thumbs up button a lil love. Drop your favorite moment in the comments. I want to hear your pettiest win too. And if you're not subscribed yet, seriously, don't make me plot revenge. Click subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll see you in the next one, where karma's always caffeinated.